In September 2004, Green Day gifted the world with their magnum opus in the form of the hour-long rock opera American Idiot. The album tells a classic coming-of-age story centered around the character of the Jesus of Suburbia, who leaves home to go on a journey of self-discovery. It touches on themes of alienation, lost love, and drug abuse, and also carries with it a strong political message regarding the cultural landscape of its day. Released to almost universal acclaim, American Idiot has sold over 16 million copies worldwide, and has received numerous accolades since, one of which was being adapted into an award-winning Broadway musical. The musical featured an expanded version of the album's storyline, along with the inclusion of songs from 2009's 21st Century Breakdown album, which is Green Day's latest rock opera to date. But did you know that there was another planned adaptation of the album, which was originally teased before the album's release, before being passed through several studios prior to getting trapped in development hell for almost 2 decades? This is the story behind Green Day's cancelled American Idiot, the movie. To understand the making of this now cancelled punk opera flick, we must first go all the way back to 2004 with an interview with the alternative press. The interview took place just before American Idiot's release, with frontman and songwriter Billie Joe Armstrong hinting that someday he would love for American Idiot to be turned into a feature film. He then confirmed in an MTV News interview that went live on September the 21st, 2004, the same day as the album's release, that the band had been discussing the possibility of having American Idiot turned into a film script. Billie even went as far to confirm that several names had been suggested for potential scriptwriters for the project. Green Day also joked in that interview about potential actors and musicians to include in the piece. One can then only assume that the massive success of the album forced Green Day to temporarily pause their plans for the movie in order to concentrate all of their time and energy into touring and promoting their new commercial juggernaut. Throughout this time, however, the film was still heavily on the mind of the band. Then, in 2006, just as news broke that Green Day were to begin work on their next studio album, Armstrong once again told MTV News that the American Idiot motion picture was definitely going to happen, and that fresh ideas for the project were still rolling in every single week. Plans for the project then took an unexpected detour thanks to director Michael Mayer. Mayer had become a huge fan of the album in 2005 and would listen to American Idiot every day on his drive to the set of the film that he was working on at the time. During these listens, Mayer began to imagine what sort of story he would be able to tell through the songs on the album. Michael's ideas went no further until he was asked an interesting question by a journalist for an interview with Variety. The interviewer asked Mayer if he thought that there would be any more rock music in musicals. He responded by saying that there was always American Idiot to be turned into a musical, but someone else was probably already doing it. Then, after reading the interview, theatre producer Tom Hulse chatted to Mayer about the potential of turning American Idiot into a musical. Mayer then, after securing Green Day's blessing, started work on the musical, as Green Day themselves were busy working on their next album. At this point, due to the musical and the imminent release of American Idiot's follow-up, 2009's 21st Century Breakdown, the notion of the movie was placed firmly on the back burner. The band found themselves incredibly busy around this time, as the musical debuted in September 2009, right before Green Day embarked on the mammoth 21st Century Breakdown World Tour, which lasted a total of 15 months, taking us all the way through to October 2010. During promotional interviews for 21st Century Breakdown, Billie Joe Armstrong would still give occasional updates about the American Idiot movie, in 2009 claiming that the film would still happen and it would be similar in tone to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The next big update on the feature came in April 2011, when it was announced that Universal was in negotiations to purchase the rights to create a movie based upon the American Idiot musical, with the musical's director Michael Mayer attached as director. Reuters also reported that Tom Hanks would serve as a producer alongside the members of Green Day. Dustin Lance Black was also listed as a possible writer for the script. Bizarrely, this deal entirely came about thanks to the band ABBA, or more specifically their hit musical movie Mamma Mia, which released in 2008. After the success of Mamma Mia, which was released by Universal, on which Tom Hanks and his business partner Gary Gertzman served as producers, Universal were keen to release another musical, which is what initially led them to Green Day. Later that same year, Hanks and Gertzman's production company Playtone Productions gave us some more details about the feature, confirming that Billie Joe Armstrong would be playing the character of Saint Jimmy in the film as he had done during several performances of the musical. American Idiot the movie was also given the premiere date of 2013. Once again, this period of time, however, was incredibly busy for Green Day, as they were working on their ambitious Uno, Dos and Tre trilogy of albums, which were released in late 2012. As the expected release date of the American Idiot movie of 2013 came and went, director Michael Mayer gave an incredibly honest update about the state of the film's production at a Q&A screening of the documentary film Broadway Idiot, stating that due to Hollywood BS, they were still unsure as to exactly when filming would commence on the project. Our next big update for the project came in 2014, when it was announced that Billie Joe Armstrong had written songs for a play titled These Paper Bullets. This project was written by playwright Rollin Jones, who in a 2014 interview to promote it, casually mentioned that he'd been chosen to write the script for the American Idiot movie. Rollin Jones said of the American Idiot project in 2014, "The idea is to get a little dirtier and a little nastier and to translate it into visual terms. There's not going to be a lot of dialogue and it probably should be a little shorter too. After that, it just takes its movie time in getting done." Sadly, we would not hear any more news until the release of Green Day's next album, 2016's Revolution Radio. During a fresh round of interviews, Armstrong was asked the same question that had been on fans' lips for 12 years now. Where was this epic that had now been stuck in pre-production for over a decade? This time around, when talking to the NME, Billie Joe Armstrong confirmed that HBO were now at the helm of the flick, and that the script was currently being tweaked and rewritten. Described as surreal, offensive, and shocking, Armstrong said that there was still no date set to begin shooting, but that it was definitely all systems go at that moment in time. Once again, several years came and went as the band set to work on their next album, 2020's Father of All. And during the usual rounds of promo for the album, the band were asked about the film, which had now lingered in development hell for 16 years. This time, however, the news was what many had been fearing with all the lack of updates over the past few years, as American Idiot the movie had finally been cancelled. Giving no full or in-depth reasoning, on February the 10th, 2020, Armstrong said that the film had pretty much been scrapped. To date, no further official explanation has been given as to why the project was shelved. We are also left with several important questions, such as the contents and whereabouts of the completed script by Rollin Jones, and the reason Playtone Productions opted out of the film, and also, of course, the reason for its cancellation. On fan sites such as the official Green Day subreddit, there is a wealth of speculation regarding the project and reasons for its cancellation, some of which are very compelling. Perhaps the most common argument regarding its cancellation is that the film just spent way too long in development, and by 2016, Green Day and the American Idiot album had lost a lot of their popularity and cultural relevance, as by the time of its cancellation in 2020, the album was nearly 2 decades old. And there you have it, the sad and bloated tale of the ultimate big screen rock opera that never was. Now, as tragic as this all is, after so much promise and hype over the years, maybe it was for the best that it never got made. Or perhaps we've been deprived of the greatest musical movie of all time. Who knows? In any case, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.